Okay, it is that time of the year. All of the drugstore brands are launching new collections for 2024, and I can't wait to see what they have in store. I can't wait to try the products out. In today's video, I have a lot of products to share from NYX, Milani, e.l.f., something from CoverGirl, Catrice. So I'm just going to try everything on, and I'll probably do a little bit more of like a holiday-inspired makeup look. I did film a video, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, testing additional drugstore launches, so I'll link that below if you want to see that as well. And then there have been new launches since I ordered these products, so I'm sure I'll do another one, like a third part. And then after that, I'll do a big roundup on all of the best and worst new launches for 2024. So stay tuned for those videos. Again, I have a lot to talk about, so let's just jump into it. Let's start with lips. I have 3 different formulas to share in today's video. I think I'm going to try all of them on at some point. 2 from NYX. I have the new NYX Duck Plump lip glosses. And then I also have the NYX Fat Oil Slick Clicks. I think I'll probably start with one of these. And then I do want to try out the new Milani Color Fetish Hydrating Lip Stain to see if this is a good, affordable option. Okay, so I did buy 2 of the Fat Oil Slick Clicks. Let me just swatch them. Oh, wow. Okay, so one has a lot more pigment than the other one. So this one is going viral. This one is trending topic. They definitely have a nice glossy finish. I'm going to apply the shade Going Viral. They definitely have a really nice fruity scent. I wouldn't say they're quite as glossy as the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lips. I'm assuming that's kind of what these are inspired by. They're maybe just slightly thicker, which could actually be more beneficial if they end up staying in place a little bit longer. I'm going to do the eyes first today because I am using a new palette, so I'm not sure if there's going to be any fallout. We'll see. It's the Flower Beauty Coastal Lights palette. I'm not expecting any fallout because typically these shimmer shadows are so rich and intense and they just glide on the eyes and stay in place really well. But I think I'm going to go in with this shade. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to do the eyes first. I applied a little bit of eyeshadow primer and then set everything into place with this shadow just to save some time. So I'm going to use this shadow in the crease, this shadow in the outer corner, and then that silver all over the lid. I thought it would be kind of like a fun holiday inspired look because I probably will go in with like a red or a berry lip. And I don't know if I've really done any holiday inspired get ready with me videos. It's almost the end of the holiday season, but I just thought it was a good time to do it. So let's just start with this shadow in the crease. So out of all of the new drugstore launches, what are you most excited to try? Or what do you want to see from brands? Because the new launches are just starting to roll out. And I always love this time of the year with drugstore makeup because I do love drugstore makeup as a whole. And I feel like some of the best launches of the year actually come out like right in the beginning of 2024. I'm going to do the other eye off camera just to save some time. Okay, next I'm just going to kind of start to pack that darker shadow in the outer corner. This definitely doesn't have to be precise or super well blended if you're doing something similar to this, because for me, I'm just going to take that metallic shadow right on top. So I'm not looking to create like a super well blended outer corner. I just want like the depth there so it does show up a little bit underneath the metallic shadow. This is a little bit of a fluffy brush. It is the Profusion Pointed Crease Brush. So I do think it kind of helps to blend out the edges rather than using like a super dense brush to pack the color on, because I guess I want a little bit of a blended look in the crease, but you know, when I am creating a little more of a smoky eye these days, I'm not quite as precise as I used to be because in the end, I feel like I always love a shimmer shadow on the lid, and that is super forgiving with any harsh edges. Okay, so for the lid, I really want to use this shadow right here. This one just looks really intense and beautiful. So it does feel really, really creamy. Okay, yeah, I probably will not experience any fallout with this. Flower Beauty has a couple of these 6-pan palettes. This is a newer launch, and the original one had like really warm tone shadows. The second one, Jungle Lights, had like a bunch of cooler tone shadows, and then they just came out with these 2 new ones. And I think they are kind of underrated because they're palettes with 6 metallics, and a lot of people do like their palettes to have matte shadows in them. I kind of want to take a little bit of like that lighter silver just to see if I can brighten it up just a little bit. This one, oh yeah, that's perfect. I was going to say this one is more of a satin, so I wasn't sure if it was going to be quite as intense, but wow, that looks beautiful. These definitely don't look glittery on the eyes. Like this one has a very smooth satin finish. The first one was more of a metallic finish, but it's not like sparkly in the way that a lot of other shadows are. I have a new liquid liner. I have a couple of liquid liners. At first I was going to use one of these from e.l.f., But I don't think I'm going to do colorful liquid liner today. These are the H2O proof Inkwell eyeliners. So I have a blue one and a purple one. They do have a black one too, but I really wanted to try the colorful ones. I think I'll save these for the next video because I'm going to go more colorful on the lips. So I think I'll do a black liner. This one is from Catrice. It's a little bit of a newer launch. It's supposed to be a matte black liquid liner. I can't do this and talk at the same time. So let me apply this and then I'll give you my initial thoughts. Okay, a few things about this eyeliner. It definitely has a matte finish. So if you typically do like a super matte eyeliner compared to something that's a little more shiny, I think you'll like the way this looks on the eyes. It wasn't the easiest eyeliner to apply. There was like a little bit of a tug when I applied it. It didn't glide on as easily as like a brush tip eyeliner, but that could be more ideal for you if you like a little more control with your liquid liner. It just makes it more difficult to get like a super smooth, even line quickly. I did take off the NYX lip product. I wasn't loving that color on me. Honestly, it was kind of throwing me off because it is completely different than the type of look I'm going for today. So I want to try out some of the other lip products today as well. I will wear this for an extended period of time, both shades, and keep you updated on how long they actually last. So I'll pin a comment below sharing updates on all of the products that I'm testing out. So I'm going to try out another one in just a second, but first I'm going to do my foundation. So I do have a new primer to try out, a new concealer, but this primer has some interesting claims. I was looking it up last night. It is the Catrice The Smoother Plumping Primer Concentrate. It's supposed to visibly fill in lines and provide essential moisture, leaving your skin feeling smoother and looking plumper. And they're also saying it evens out skin tone, improves overall radiance, and minimizes the appearance of pores. So I'm going to focus this product right here between my brows. That is where I have the most obvious wrinkle, and that's where my makeup tends to crease the fastest. So I love trying new products there, like primers, powders, concealers, to see if they actually make a difference. I also have some fine lines around my chin. So let's apply this here, and then my makeup will sometimes crease right around here, and I do have some large pores on my nose. So I'm going to give this a minute or two to dry down. You know what? I have a new concealer that I want to try out. So I'm going to try this under the eyes, but I also want to try it as a spot concealer. It's the NYX Pro Fix Stick Correcting Concealer. I do think the shade I got is maybe a little bit too light. I got Alabaster, which why did I get this shade? I feel like this looks lighter in person than I thought it was going to. So I don't do a ton of concealing before foundation these days, but in the beginning of last year, I was doing that a lot because I felt like I was dealing with a lot of hyperpigmentation, and sometimes it is nice to go in before foundation and kind of correct any redness because then you don't have to go in with as much foundation. This concealer actually comes in quite a few shades, including some color correcting tones. I think they have a green one, which would be great for my skin because I do deal with some redness. But it's interesting because it's a very creamy texture. I don't know how this is going to work under my eyes. I feel like because it is so creamy and it's going on easily, it's great as like a, what am I trying to say? It's great to kind of spot conceal before foundation. Yeah, it looks good. Like it melts into the skin in a really pretty way, but I wonder if it's going to crease under the eyes. So I am going to try this under the eyes too. For foundation, I'm going with a tried and true favorite since I am testing out a new concealer and a new primer. This is the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation, and I have the shade Neutral Sand. All right, I'm going to kind of speed through the foundation application. Well, not too quickly because I am curious to know how it goes on with that primer underneath. But this is like the third year that this has been my favorite foundation. Or is it the second? When did I try it? I can't remember if I tried it in 2020 or 2021, but it's still my number one favorite. So I always like using it when I am testing out new products, new base products, so I can tell what the issue is, whether it is the primer or the concealer, and that way I know it's not the foundation because this wears really well on my skin. So what are you guys up to for the holiday season? Are you traveling? Are you staying home? We are traveling for Christmas this year. We're going to go visit Brady's side of the family. That's my husband, if you're new to my channel. We actually haven't flown anywhere in a while. We didn't do a ton of flying this year. We did some road trips, which I almost think was easier with a toddler compared to flying. The first year he was born, we flew so much. And I think it's just easier to fly with an infant compared to a toddler because they're not wanting to like get around and walk and run everywhere. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not too concerned because he's just like a content little toddler and looking out the window is his favorite thing when we're flying. Okay, the foundation applied pretty well. I don't know that my skin is looking as smooth as it does when I use some of my other favorite smoothing primers, like the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer or the e.l.f. Power Grip with niacinamide. I can kind of see, where's my concealer brush? I can kind of see like a little bit of creasing between my brows already, which is kind of fast because I just applied the foundation. But you can see, whenever I make this face, like that's where I tend to notice my foundation creasing. So I don't know if that primer is quite as smoothing as it claims. We'll see how it wears. So I'm going to take the NYX concealer. I don't know if I'm going to love this type of formula under the eyes because I do prefer to use a brush just so I can get like a really even seamless blend. And I think it probably applies a little bit better if you use like the warmth of your finger to really melt it in. I don't know if it's looking quite as good as like a typical liquid concealer. Let me just use my finger on this side and see if that helps instead of going in with a brush first. I'm thinking if you use a beauty sponge or you like to tap it in with your fingers, like just a very small amount, this might be more ideal. I tend to prefer more of like a flawless, even, smooth finish. And because this is like a cream, I just feel like it's going to crease on me. I'm just going to set that into place with a little bit of powder. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow, and I'm just using the light pink one. Oh, how much powder was on there? I feel like there was a little bit too much, but you know what? The nice part about the e.l.f. Halo Glow is because it is so lightweight, it doesn't actually end up looking powdery on the skin. So I have to keep wearing this concealer to know for sure if I'm going to like it under the eyes. I feel like it's just a feeling that it's going to end up caking up on me throughout the day. I don't know though, because it does look really good right now. Like once I set it into place, that looks really smooth and even. It has nice coverage. We'll see how it actually wears. I'll update you in the pinned comment below. Okay, before I go in with bronzer and brows and everything else, I do want to try out this lip gloss. It's the NYX Duck Plump. I got a few shades. I want to try the shade Bangin' Bear. This is supposed to be a plumping gloss. I believe they have pretty good pigment. This is one of the lighter shades, but I'll swatch the other colors that I got. I got a red and then a little bit of a deeper nude. Oh, it kind of has like a spicy taste. I can feel it on my tongue. It's not like your typical tingle. It's kind of like a spiciness. Let me just look up the info online. So this comes in 18 different shades. It says get extreme high shine and high pigment payoff in one easy swipe. I like the way it looks. It definitely looks smooth and glossy. I'm obviously wearing one of the lighter, softer shades. Oh, it's infused with spicy ginger. Okay, now that I've read that, I can tell. It's kind of like when you eat a hot pepper and your lips are kind of chapped. That's what it feels like on the lips. So not a pleasant feeling. I'm generally not a big fan of like a super intense burn or tingle with my lip products. Do my lips look plump? I think they look a little bit plumped up, but it's not anything extreme, especially for the way this feels. I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of sensitive to lip plumping products these days, but I feel like I can definitely tell when something starts to sting. And this is intense. I would say it's kind of close to the Too Faced lip injections. But again, it has like that spiciness to it. So it's a different type of feeling and a taste. Like I can definitely taste it. So we'll see. I'll leave this on for a little while to see what it actually does for my lips. Okay, I want to apply bronzer. This is new from Milani. It's their Cheek Kiss Cream Bronzer, and I got the shade Hey Honey. I think this is the lightest shade. I'm really excited to try this out because I do love the Cheek Kiss cream blushes. And I don't know why, like this wasn't even on my mind that they would create a bronzer version of it, but I'm happy to see it because the Cheek Kiss cream blushes look so good on the skin. They're very smooth, very creamy. They kind of have like this dewy glow to them. And my favorite cream bronzer right now is the Makeup Revolution one. But I feel like it will be nice to have another alternative. And I've said this before, but I think they're maybe discontinuing that because they used to have 5 shades and now I usually only see 2 online. Okay, this is going on perfectly. It has that really smooth, even glide where it basically just melts into the skin in the same way the blushes do. I don't know. I almost wonder if I'm going to prefer this to the Makeup Revolution one because this looks really natural on the skin. Like the Makeup Revolution one, it has a lot of pigment, which is nice because you just need a small amount. And even as you blend it in, you don't lose that pigment. This one has enough pigment that I feel like it shows up well, but it's not over the top. And it just has the perfect texture, so it almost looks like your skin. I'm just taking a little bit on my nose. I've kind of been contouring my nose a little bit, although this is pretty warm toned. Honestly, it looks good. I'm excited to have another good cream bronzer option from the drugstore. And I tend to prefer the bronzers that come in this type of packaging because they look so smooth on the skin. They're just easier to apply, in my opinion, compared to like a stick bronzer. Okay, I'm just going to set everything into place with that e.l.f. powder, and then I'll move on to the brows. Okay, the lip gloss is still tingling. Do my lips look plumped up? I don't know. I guess a little bit. Like they do look pretty smooth overall. I'm not sure they look significantly different though, especially for how much this lip gloss is burning. It's not to the point where I feel like I have to take it off, but it is pretty noticeable. So if you are sensitive to lip plumpers and you don't typically love a strong lip plumper, I would skip over this. Honestly, NYX has so many lip gloss options. They have a ton of really smoothing lip glosses. I love the Milkshake line. Those have good pigment. They're very smooth, super glossy. They make your lips look plump because they are so glossy and smoothing. I feel like those are a good alternative if you don't want that burning sensation. I just applied the NYX Thick It Stick It Brow Gel. I'm going to give that a second to dry down, and then I'm going to fill in my brows with this new e.l.f. pencil. It is the Instant Lift Waterproof Brow Pencil. I usually use a brow pen for like the main part of my brows, but I do like a pencil to kind of define underneath. And this is a newer formula from e.l.f. I know they have a very similar pencil already, but this one is waterproof. It's supposed to stay in place a little bit longer. So we'll see. Let me just see what it feels like. Actually, I can tell a difference just from swatching it on my hand. It's it's hard to explain. Like some brow pencils are so waxy and some have like a little more of a not a sticky texture, but like the second you touch them on the skin, the pigment shows up. Like the Urban Decay Brow Blade. Like that pencil is a very specific formula compared to other more waxy textures. I was just saying in a video that you'll see next week, I'm trying to find an alternative for the Urban Decay Brow Blade because I've found an alternative for the ink stain side, but I haven't found an alternative for the brow pencil side that I like as much. The NYX Micro Brow Pencil comes close, but just based on swatching this, I like the texture of this. Oh wow, it is not going anywhere. Like that is on my hand. I didn't even give it time to dry down. Like it's instantly on there. So that feels really promising. While the brow gel is drying, I'm just taking the light brown from that e.l.f. quad on my lower lash line just to kind of tie things together a little bit. I do have a new pencil I'm going to try on the waterline from NYX. This is the new Vivid Rich Mechanical Liner, and I have the shade Quartz Queen. It kind of looks like a light nude with like a really pretty soft hint of pink. So I do think it could be really nice on the waterline just for brightening things up, but it's not like the most intense, stark white eyeliner. That went on really nicely. It's very creamy, really rich and intense, so we'll see if it actually lasts on the eyes. I got another shade, so I'll swatch them both for you, but I saw they just launched these. I swear they had something really similar on their website already, but maybe they just improved the formula. Okay, let me just fill in the brows with the Milani Weekend Brow. I feel like I'm going kind of out of order with my makeup. Like I keep jumping back and forth. The eye look is not completely done yet. We'll get there. Okay, I know I mostly filled in my brows with the brow pen, but I am going to take the pencil to kind of shape the bottom because that's what I would normally do. So if this can take the place of the brow blade pencil for me, that would be amazing. Yeah, it definitely has a little bit of like a sticky texture to it. So it's not quite as smooth of a glide as like the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. I don't know if everyone is going to love the texture of this. I do like it. It's almost like a, you know how some brands have like those pomade pencils? That's what this feels like. Like, can you see the subtle difference between this brow and this brow? The bottom is just a little bit more defined. Definitely an interesting texture. I don't know if it will replace the Urban Decay one for me because the tip of this is just a little bit thicker, and I do prefer like a very precise tip, but the texture of it is nice. Okay, I'm just taking the lightest shade from that e.l.f. quad and I'm just kind of blending everything together. In the end, that's always my last step with eyeshadow, just so it doesn't look harsh or uneven. Okay, I'm really excited to try this mascara. This is the Lash XTNDR Mascara. It's supposed to give you a ton of length. So it is a tubing mascara. This reminds me a lot of the Milani mascara that came out last year, which I think they're both inspired by, or they're supposed to be dupes for the Thrive mascara. Okay, the wands are very, very similar. The Milani wand is a little bit thicker, But the Milani mascara was such a fail for most people. When I first tried it, I did not like it. And then it strangely became one of my favorite launches of 2023 because I started using it just mainly on my bottom lashes, or I would combine it with other mascaras that were great at giving volume but not length. And if I just went in with a really small amount in the end, I felt like it did make my lashes look really long. But it is a tricky formula to work with because it is such a wet formula. It's hard to build, and I almost think it's better after it dries out for like 2 full months. So we'll see if I have better luck with this e.l.f. mascara. I haven't watched any reviews on this yet, so I'm not sure what people are saying. I don't know about this one. I'm not quite in love with it from like this very initial application. I feel like I can just tell with mascara. Are you the same way? Like the second it touches your lashes, can you tell if you're going to like it? That's how I feel. And honestly, I think I might like this in the way I like the Milani one, where it could be good to combine with a really good volumizing mascara. I don't love it. It's not doing what I want it to do. Like it's definitely lengthening my lashes, but because there is no volume, it looks like my lashes look really sparse. They look long, but sparse. It dries so fast. Like that's where it definitely differs from the Milani one, but it's almost like my lashes are tangly, so I can't even use like a lash separator to really comb out any of the clumps. What a mess. I just tried to go in and like comb out the lashes, the clumps, and it just like clumped them together even more. It almost feels like I glued my lashes together. I think I'm going to try to remove it from this eye and start over because I don't know what happened. I'll be right back. Okay, good news. Because it is a tubing mascara, it removes like a tubing mascara. So you can just add a little bit of water to slide it off. I guess I shouldn't say it's a dry mascara. It dries down so fast. So whatever you do with like that first coat, that's pretty much what you're left with. If you go in and try to layer more, it's not going to work. And I do find that a lot of tubing mascaras, they're not buildable because of the way that they're designed. They create essentially like little tubes over your lashes. So it's almost like as you apply more, it kind of removes what's already on there. But some do build well. This is not one. The other thing is when I went to use my lash comb, it had a second to kind of dry down because I was doing the other eye. If I use it when it's still wet, let's see how it works. Okay, it's better if you use it immediately after applying. But my lashes still don't look good. So I'm personally not a fan of this. I will try it out. I don't even want to use it on the bottom lashes, but I will. I will continue to test it out because when I initially tried that Milani one last year, I did not like it. And then my opinion changed, which is why I do think first impressions videos are fun to film, but I like to come back and share like updated reviews after I've thoroughly tested things. That way I can share like the true pros and cons. I don't know if you're feeling this on your end of the screen. I'm just taking a little bit of the Flower Beauty Heatwave Luminous Bronzer. I'm not really using it as bronzer, more so as like blush, just to add a little bit more color to the face. What was I saying? I think I was saying I don't know if it feels like this on your end, but the video today feels a little chaotic. I think my brain is just all over the place because we're going out of town. I still have a lot of work to do. This makeup look is not turning out fully. So I apologize if it is a little chaotic on your end too. This is the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. I'm just going to take a little bit of this on the cheeks just to add a touch of glow. For the inner corner, I'm actually just going to take a little bit of that silver from the Flower Beauty palette. It almost has like a touch of pink to it in the pan. It's so pretty. And that looks really nice as an inner corner highlight too. So for the lips, I'm going to try out the Milani Color Fetish Hydrating Lip Stain. I love the Milani Color Fetish lipsticks, but this is obviously different because it is a stain. I don't know if it's meant to be like a glossy stain or a typical stain, but we'll see. I thought this would tie the look together to create like that typical holiday look. So I'm going to apply this without a lip liner because it is such a dark color. I would normally use a lip liner just to create more of like a crisp line, but I'm really curious to know how this wears without a liner because it is a stain and obviously a liner would extend the wear of it. So I want to test it out today, keep it on as long as possible and see how it actually looks by the end of the day. Okay, here's how it looks. It has a really nice, almost like a vanilla scent to it that's really pleasant as you're applying it. The applicator is good. Like, even though I don't have a lip liner underneath, I feel like I was still able to apply it really well, especially for more of a dramatic color. But I typically would go in with a liner just because I could get more of like a very neat, even, crisp look. But again, I really want to test this out on its own to see how it lasts throughout the day. It's very glossy. It definitely has almost like a gel-like texture to it. And I can't imagine this wouldn't be transfer proof, but I'm going to give it a few minutes to see if it is transfer proof. I think once the glossy layer wears off, you're obviously left with like a subtle stain. I don't know if the stain is going to end up looking streaky or even, we'll see. So that's pretty much all I wanted to test out in today's video. I feel like I tried a lot of products out today. Let me just start to gather them and just gather my thoughts because again, I do feel like it was a little chaotic today for some reason. So initially, the standout products, the Flower Beauty Coastal Lights palette. This feels just like their other 6-pan palettes. So if you like those formulas, I have a feeling you'll like this one too. The colors are pretty. Like the silvers are definitely prettier than I thought they were going to be. So I'm excited to try out the other shades in here. Honestly, it's hard to say because I have to actually see how it wears throughout the day, but this went on so nicely. Like it's very comfortable, very easy to apply, and initially I do like it better than pretty much all of the other glossy lip stains I've tried. We'll just see how it actually wears throughout the day, which is why updates are important. Same with this eyeliner, so creamy. I love the color. Like it is almost like a white, very light color, but it has a hint of pink, which is pretty. I'm not sold on this Catrice primer. I just think there are so many other options out there. I don't feel like my skin looks all that smooth, and we'll see how my foundation actually wears throughout the day. But initially, I just wasn't impressed by it. And I feel like you can usually tell right away if a smoothing primer is exceptional. And there are just other options out there I think I'm going to like better. Same with the eyeliner. Not a fail, just not initially my favorite. It feels like it's going to stay in place well just based on the swatch. So that could be a bonus. And I like the fact that it is a true matte and there's no shine to it, but it just didn't glide on as easily as I would have hoped. My biggest fail was definitely the e.l.f. mascara. I will try it out a few more times, but even like with this eye, I didn't have any major issues. I didn't have to remove my mascara and start over. My lashes just don't look good. They don't look extra long. They definitely don't look thick or voluminous. And this eye looks terrible. So I don't like it. I can't imagine I'm going to change my mind, but I'll update you in a few weeks. The e.l.f. brow pencil feels really nice. A little bit sticky though, so keep that in mind if you plan on trying it out. I think I'll like this concealer as a spot concealer. And you know what? It does look good under my eyes. It's not creasing at all. I wouldn't say it's enhancing texture on my skin. It looks smooth. So I think this could be a nice little concealer to have on hand. It's very quick and easy, and you can just kind of tap it in with your finger. If you don't typically wear a lot of concealer under the eyes, you might actually like this too. And they do have color correcting tones. So that could be really promising. And then the NYX lip products. I think the Slick Click feels really good. We'll see how it wears. I will continue to try it out. And the Duck Plump, it looks nice. Like it definitely has a smooth, glossy quality. But if you're not a fan of like a spicy ginger feel and taste, you won't like this. So definitely some promising products, but also some fails as well. Oh, let's see if this is transfer proof. Actually, not bad. There's like a little bit of color, but it's still in place and it's still glossy. So that is surprising to me. Glossy lip stains really throw me off. Let me try to actually kind of remove that initial layer and see, wow, the stain looks good. Like that looks very even, especially for not having a liner on. In my head, I'm comparing it to the Rare Beauty Tinted Lip Oil, which I know is not marketed as like a full-on glossy stain, but this looks so even. It feels really good on the lips too, but I'm going to wear it all day so that way I can really update you and let you know how long it lasted on the lips. Okay, that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope that you are having an amazing month of December. If you celebrate the holidays, I hope that you're having a really good holiday season. And I'll actually be back in a few days because I'm going to share my favorite drugstore makeup products of 2023. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you then. Bye.